Good morning, respected panel members, lecturers and fellow students. My name is Sofia and I have the honour of representing the student body for this presentation. With me today is Mrs. Al, our university's IT and Operations Officer, someone who has been instrumental in driving innovation and operational efficiency across our campus. Together, we will explore an issue that seems small at first glance but has a surprisingly large impact on our university community, the problem of lost and found items on campus.
Okay, thank you, Sophia, and a very good morning to everyone here. It's a pleasure to be a part of this discussion. The topic may sound simple, but when we look deeper, it reflects some fundamental challenges in how we manage communication, accountability, and digital integration in our institution. So, today, we aim to analyze this issue from two perspectives: the students' everyday experience and the administrative or operational side, to identify the core causes and propose a comprehensive technology-driven solution.
That's right. Losing something on campus, whether it's a student ID, a laptop, or even a water bottle, can be frustrating.
True.
But when such incidents happen frequently and without a proper system to manage them, they turn into a campus-wide issue. Imagine the stress of misplacing your matric card right before an exam, or your keys just before heading home. Beyond inconvenience, it disrupts routine, causes anxiety, and in some cases even affects academic performance.
Absolutely, Sophia. And from the administrative side, the problem is not about returning lost items. It's actually about efficiency and transparency. Without a clear structure, the handling of lost and found items becomes inconsistent. Some items are locked, some are forgotten, and others sit unclaimed in drawers or boxes. This lack of coordination creates a confusion for both staff and students.
Through our discussion today, we will not only highlight the existing gap in how we manage lost and found items, but also present a new practical system, one that is digital, transparent, and easy to everyone to use. Our hope is to show how even small operational improvements can have a big effect on student welfare and the university's reputation for innovation.
Yes, and beyond that, we also hope that this conversation sparks awareness that every lost and found case, no matter how small, reflects a moment of human interaction, trust, and responsibility. Solving this problem is not only about the technology, it's actually about building a more caring and connected campus community.
Exactly. So let's begin by understanding how this issue looks on the ground, the background and context behind the problem. Okay, so first, every academic year, countless students misplace personal items on campus, from simple things like water bottles and umbrellas to valuable professions like wallets, calculators, and electronic devices. It happens everywhere, in cafeterias, lecture halls, libraries, and even within administrative buildings. And although these are ordinary incidents, they occur so often that they collectively form a recurring issue that affects hundreds of students.
Yes, and from the university's operations side, we see a pattern. Each semester, security posts, department counters, and administrative offices receive numerous found items, but without a unified process. Each department manages them differently. For example, the library keeps its own logbook. The guard post stores items in the cabinet, and some faculty offices simply leave found items at reception. This decentralization makes it extremely difficult to track, retrieve, or verify ownership of the things that is lost.
Yes, exactly. And what's even more interesting or worrying is that students aren't always sure where to go when something goes missing. During our campus survey consisting of 220 students, 72% admitted that they had lost something at least once in campus. But here's the shocking part. Only 19% successfully retrieved their items. That means over 4 out of 5 students never got their belongings back, often because they didn't know where to look.
And that uncertainty cuts both ways. Staff members too face challenges. For an instance, if a lecturer finds a phone in a classroom, they may hand it over to the faculty office. But that office might not have a process for tagging or recording it. As a result, the item might remain there for weeks until someone remembers to forward it somewhere else. So, even when people have good intentions, the lack of structure leads to confusion and inefficiency.
That's a really good point. What's particularly concerning is that these inefficiencies create a domino effect. A student who loses their ID may have to queue at multiple offices to ask if it's been found. In the meantime, they might also have to pay for a replacement card, which adds financial strain. On the other hand, staff members spend their time responding to repetitive inquiries, which takes attention away from their responsibilities. Everyone loses item, energy, and trust in the system.
So, from an administrative perspective, this also highlights the absence of centralized management system. Currently, there is no digital platform or unified database that records lost and found items in real time. Each office works independently, and communication happens mostly through phone calls or in-person visits. This traditional approach may have worked decades ago when campuses were smaller, but in today's digital age, with thousands of students and multiple facilities, it's no longer practical.
Right, and let's not forget the emotional side of this issue.
Yeah.
For many students, losing an item is not just about the object itself. It's about the frustration, it's about the worry, and sometimes embarrassment of not being able to find it. For example, a student who misplaces their laptop or notes just before finals might experience anxiety that directly impacts their focus and motivation. So this issue, though operational in nature, also affects mental well-being and academic confidence.
That's true. It also impacts how students perceive their university's management. When systems appear disorganized, it can give the impression that the institution doesn't prioritize students' needs. Even when that is not the case, a smooth, transparent lost and found process, on the other hand, can send a strong message that the university values responsibility, communication, and care for its community's members.
Exactly, and that's the kind of culture we want to build. So, in addressing the lost and found problem, we're not just solving administrative issues, we're strengthening the values of accountability, empathy, and cooperation across the campus.
Well said, Sophia. And to put things into perspective, let's think about the bigger picture. Around the world, universities are rapidly adopting digital campus management systems to streamline everyday processes, from attendance tracking to facility booking. But the lost and found area often gets overlooked. It's not glamorous, but it's one of those small systems that directly shape students' daily experiences.
That's such an important observation. If we can apply digital transformation principles to academics, scheduling, and security, then surely we can extend same innovation to how we handle something as practical as lost and found items. After all, technology should serve people in every aspect of campus life, big or small.
And that is precisely what motivated this study. We wanted to explore how we can combine technology, management, and community engagement to create a smarter, kinder, and more connected approach to this recurring problem.
Exactly. By the end of this presentation, we hope you'll see that the issue of lost and found item isn't trivial. It's an opportunity for the university to modernize its operations, to strengthen communication between students and staffs, and to demonstrate that innovation can start with something as simple as returning a lost water bottle to its owner.
Well said. So, with that background in mind, let's move on to defining the problem more formally and examining why it matters not just operationally but also emotionally and culturally within the campus environment.
Okay, now that we understand the background, let's define the issue more clearly. The lost and found problems on campus can be described as the absence of an organized, transparent, and efficient system for managing lost and found items within the university environment. This lack of systems results in delays, unclaimed belongings, and a general sense of confusion. But more importantly, it reveals weaknesses in how communication and accountability are structured within our institutions.
Yes, and this is not just about misplaced items. It's about the process that follows. When a student loses something, they don't just lose the object, they lose time, focus, and sometimes even trust in the system that is meant to support them. For an instance, imagine losing your access card right before an exam. Instead of preparing for the test, you spend hours and hours running from one office to one another. That experience can leave students feeling helpless and frustrated.
Exactly, and that sense of helplessness is a serious concern. Students often share that they feel like they're on their own when they lose something, that there's no reliable place to go or person to ask. This problem, therefore, is not just logistical but psychological. It affects students' emotional well-being, confidence, and perception on how responsive the university is to their needs.
And from the administrative perspective, this issue also exposes operational inefficiency. Staff members waste time handling unstructured reports or searching for misplaced records. Without standardized procedures, even well-intentioned efforts can become unproductive. Worse still, this kind of disorder can lead to misunderstandings. Students may suspect mishandling and staff may feel unfairly blamed.
That's a very valid point. In fact, during our discussions with student representatives, several cases came up where students believe items have been misplaced by security or the office, when in reality, those items were sitting safely in another department. The lack of a shared tracking system creates unnecessary mistrust. This is why we say the problem isn't just about things being lost, it's about information being lost along the way.
And when information is lost, accountability fades. We have no consistent way to verify when an item was found, who received it, or when it was claimed. Without this chain of custody, administrative transparency suffers. In a university that is striving for digital transformation and smart campus initiatives, such inefficiency feels outdated and inconsistent with our broader goals.
That's true. So, to summarize, this problem stems from a mix of poor communication, outdated practices, and a lack of centralized management. Its impact is seen in wasted time, reduced productivity, and diminished student dissatisfaction. But at the heart of it is about missed opportunities to build trust, efficiency, and community care.
Exactly. And it is important to note that our purpose in addressing this problem is not to assign blame, but to recognize that the system itself needs improvement. When structures fail, even the most diligent staff and students struggle. So, the real question becomes, how do we design a structure that supports everyone, one that is efficient, inclusive, and transparent?
That question leads us directly to our next point, the objectives of our study and proposal. Let's look at what we hope to achieve and how these goals align with our university's broader mission of modernization and student-centered service.
So, our proposal is to build on 4 key objectives. The first objective is to identify existing weaknesses in the current approach to lost and found management. This involves mapping how items are currently reported, stored, and returned, and pinpointing where breakdowns occur. We aim to analyze not just the process itself, but also the communication gaps between departments and individuals.
The second objective is to design a comprehensive technology-based system that streamlines the reporting and retrieval of lost and found items. This means going beyond manual logs or basic forms and instead creating a live digital platform where every lost and found item is recorded in real time. Imagine a system that allows you to report a missing item through your phone, upload a description or photo, and immediately check whether it has been found anywhere on campus. That's the kind of efficiency we're envisioning.
Our third objective focuses on enhancing transparency and accountability. We believe that every transaction in this process, from the moment an item is found to the moment it's returned, should be traceable. With a digital record, students can see when their item was reported, where it was stored, and when it was claimed. Meanwhile, administrative staff can manage these records easily without fear of losing information or facing disputes.
And finally, our fourth objective is to promote a culture of responsibility and cooperation across the campus. We don't just want a system, we want a shared value. Every student, every lecturer, or even staff member should understand their role in maintaining honesty and care. Returning lost items should not be seen as an obligation, but as part of our identity as a supportive academic community.
That is such an important point, Sophia. So, technology alone can't solve human behavior problems, but it can encourage better behavior by making it easier to do the right thing. For example, if students know that they can easily log a found item online and even track its return, they are more likely to participate actively. It transforms a simple good deed into a normalized community practice.
Exactly. And this ties into our larger hope that through this initiative, we can strengthen our sense of belonging and integrity as a campus. When systems are transparent, people trust them. When they trust them, they use them. And when they use them, a culture of accountability naturally grows.
That is beautifully put, Sophia. So, we also hope that this approach become a model for other operational improvements in the university. Once we establish the framework for a functional lost and found system, the same structure can inspire other areas such as managing borrowed equipment, student feedback reporting, or even event coordination.
Yes, it's like planting a seed.
Yeah.
The system may start small, focused on lost and found, but its principles of transparency, efficiency, and cooperation can spread throughout campus life. And when that happens, we don't just solve one problem, we set the tone for an entire culture of progress.
Exactly. So, to summarize our objectives, first, we have to diagnose the weaknesses in the current system. Second, we have to design a technology-based reporting and retrieval solution. Third, we have to enhance accountability through transparent tracking. Fourth, we have to foster community participation and responsibility. Together, these objectives reflect our shared goal to make our campus a place where people not only learn but also trust the systems that support them.
And ultimately, our hope is that this initiative contributes to a smarter, safer, and more connected campus. Because when small problems are handled with care and innovation, they create ripples of positive change throughout the entire institution.
Well said. Now that we have covered the objectives, let's take a closer look at what's causing the problem in the first place. The root factors that make this issue persist even with good intentions and existing efforts.
Okay, let's now look deeper into the root causes of this problem. Through our research and discussions with both students and staff, we identified four major contributing factors that explain why the lost and found issue continues to persist, even after years of informal management. The first and fundamental cause is the lack of centralized management system. Without one main platform or process to handle all lost and found cases, items get scattered across different departments, making it difficult for anyone to track or retrieve them efficiently.
That is absolutely right, Sophia. The university is currently relies on what we might call a fragmented approach. When someone finds an item, they may hand it to whichever office is the nearest to them. That office then decides independently how to store or record it. If they record it at if they record it at all. Some offices write details in a logbook, others don't keep any records at all. The result? No one has ever complete picture of what's have been found or where those items are kept. This lack of coordination creates confusion, delays, and frustration on both ends.
Exactly. The second cause is inefficient communication channels. Students often rely on informal tools like WhatsApp groups, Telegram channels, or social media pages to report lost items. This can be useful at times, but they are inconsistent and unreliable. Posts gets buried, messages go unseen, and there's no official verification. What's worse, because these methods are not endorsed by the university, there's always a risk of misinformation or even misunderstanding. So for example, a student might claim to have found an item that isn't actually theirs.
Yes, and informal communication also leads to another issue, which is lack of traceability. If a student posts is in a group chat that they lost their wallet and someone responds saying they found one, there is no record of the exchange. If the wallet later goes missing again or turns out to belong to someone else, there is no way to confirm what happened. In contrast, a centralized platform could document every transaction, who reported what, when it was found, and when it was claimed, creating a transparent record that protects both students and staff.
So the third cause we found is insufficient awareness. Many students simply do not know what to do or where to go when they lost something. Some believe all items are sent to the security post, while others go directly to the student affairs department. So this confusion leads to wasted time and wasted effort. During our survey, several students said they gave up. They gave up searching for their items after checking 2 or 3 offices without success. So the issue isn't just that there's no system, it's that no one is sure which system to trust.
Correct. That is an important observation. A process is only as strong as the people who know how to use it. Even if a proper procedure exists, it is ineffective if students and staff are not aware of it. That is why awareness campaigns and clear communication are just as important as the system itself. A well-designed system fails without widespread understanding and participation from people that is in the campus.
So the fourth cause is inadequate record keeping. Currently, when an item is found, details like the time, place, and description are rarely documented systematically. Sometimes, staff simply write vague notes like lost key or student ID without additional context. When a student later comes looking, it's difficult to match their report with that entry. Over time, unclaimed items pile up. With no records to track them, they either go missing again or are disposed of prematurely.
That is very, very true, Sophia. So, record keeping may sound like a small task, but it's actually the backbone of any reliable process. Without proper data, we can identify trends, measure recovery rates, or evaluate which locations are most prone to lost items. In other words, we can't manage what we don't measure. So, poor documentation not only delays recovery but also limits the university's ability to improve.
So, to summarize the four causes, first, lack of a centralized management system. Second, inefficient communication channels.
True.
Third, insufficient awareness among students and staffs. And the last one is the fourth one, inadequate record keeping and documentation. Together, these factors create a cycle of confusion and inefficiency. The more disorganized the process becomes, the less motivated people are to report or return items. It's a self-perpetuating problem that can only be broken by introducing structure and accountability.
Exactly. And as we will see in the next part, the issue doesn't just inconvenience people. It also has wider implications for the university operations, reputation, and even its culture. Let's move on to discuss the broader impact of this recurring issue. So, the implication of this issue extends far beyond the lost belongings. From an operational perspective, unclaimed items create clutter and consume valuable administrative space. Over time, storage rooms, guard posts, and office corners fill out with forgotten items, bags, bottles, cables, notebooks, and even electronics. This not only looks unprofessional but also wastes the space that could be used more effectively for academic or operational needs.
Yes, and beyond space management, there's also the matter of data and resource management. Without a centralized tracking system, it's impossible to know how many items are lost each semester, what type of items are most common, or how efficiently they are being returned. This lack of data prevents the university from making informed decisions about policy or resource allocation. For example, if we knew that most losses occur in cafeterias, we could install designated lost and found drop boxes or awareness posters in those areas.
That's such a great example, Sophia. So, another important implication is time inefficiency. Staff members who handle lost items manually often spend significant time sorting, labeling, and responding to inquiries. A security guard, for instance, might receive 5 to 10 questions a day about missing items, all of which require manual searching. That is time taken away from their primary duty, maintaining campus safety. Similarly, administrative staff in student affairs spend hours coordinating with different offices just to locate a single item.
Yes, and the impact on students is just as serious. Students who frequently lose items or have difficulty retrieving them often report feelings of anxiety, guilt, or frustration. They might even blame themselves or feel embarrassed to ask for help. So over time, such negative experiences can reduce their sense of belonging and trust in the institution. When that happens, even small operational issues can have a lasting emotional impact.
Absolutely, Sophia. This emotional factor is often overlooked. Universities talk a lot about students' experience, but that experience is not just about academics or facilities. It is also about how supported and respected students feel in their daily interactions with the institution. A well-organized lost and found system may seem minor, but it sends a strong message that the university is actually cares about its students' well-being, no matter how small the issue is.
Oh, that's a wonderful point, Miss Alia. Another broader implication involves security and privacy risks. Items like ID cards, personal documents, or even thumb drives can contain sensitive information. If such items are mishandled or left unsecured, they could lead to identity misuse or data leaks. So a proper loss and found system ensures that sensitive items are kept securely and only returned after proper verification, protecting both student and the university potential risks.
Yes, and beyond security, there is also the matter of institutional reputation. A university that handles everyday operations efficiently reflects a culture of excellence and professionalism. On the other hand, disorganized systems, even for something as simple as lost items, can make the institution appear careless. Into this competitive academic environment, where student satisfaction and digital innovation are key benchmarks, operational flaws can affect overall reputation of the university itself.
Exactly, Miss R. And from the student's perspective, these small inefficiencies accumulate. Each unresolved incident becomes part of a larger pattern that shapes how students view the university's responsiveness. If students feel that the institution doesn't care about their minor problems, they may assume it won't handle major issues effectively either. That perception can affect engagement, can affect trust, and even student retention.
That is true. In short, the lost and found issue touches on multiple dimensions: operational, emotional, security related, and reputational. Solving it effectively can bring benefits far beyond the immediate goal of returning items. It can boost morale, improve communication, and strengthen institutional trust.
Exactly, and that's why we see this more than just a logistical issue. It's an opportunity to rethink how our university serves its people. By addressing this challenge through innovation and collaboration, we're not only fixing a process, but also setting a precedent for how our institution can evolve in digital age.
Well said, Sophia. With that understanding, we can now look at the academic foundation that supports our analysis, the theoretical frameworks and literature that justify why an integrated communication-based solution is both logical and necessary for our university.
Now that we've explored the causes and implications of the lost and found issue, let's move to the theoretical and academic foundations that support our analysis. So, our project is guided by two main perspectives: the communication theory of organization and the technology acceptance model, TAM.
Starting with the communication theory of organization by Carl Wick, this theory highlights that organizations are essentially built through communication. The way information flows or fails to flow determines how efficiently an organization functions. In the case of our university's lost and found process, poor communication between departments leads to confusion, duplication, and inefficiency. If we improve communication channels and information sharing, the system naturally becomes more organized and effective.
Exactly. In other words, communication isn't just about support function, it's the structure of the organization itself. So, when communication breaks down, organizational processes also collapse. That's why our solution focuses not only on creating a system, but also on connecting people through it. So the second theory, the Technology Acceptance Model, ATM, by Davis, 1989, explains how users come to accept and use technology. It states that two factors influence acceptance: perceived usefulness and perceived ease of use. For a digital lost and found system to be succeed, students and staff must see it as both helpful and simple to navigate.
That's right. If the system looks complicated or feels unnecessary, people won't use it. no matter how well it is designed. Therefore, user education and intuitive design are crucial. In our proposal, we emphasize that creating a platform that is accessible, mobile-friendly, and straightforward to the students and staff to use. These theoretical foundations show that our solution is not just practical but also academically supported.
Okay, next let's examine what other institutions are doing. We studied examples from several universities that successfully implemented organized lost and found systems.
For an instance, the University of Malaya uses a web-based platform managed by the Security Division. Students can report lost and found items online, and the system automatically logs the details and sends notification. This reduces manual workload and increases transparency.
Similarly, the National University of Singapore, NUS, has an integrated approach where each campus building has a designated drop point, and all reports are centralized in a digital database. This combination of physical and digital management ensures no item is overlooked.
Another interesting case is the University of Melbourne, which uses QR codes at strategic locations around campus. Students can scan the code to instantly report or search for lost items. This method not only encourages participation but also shows how technology can simplify communication and record keeping.
So from these examples, we can conclude that the most effective systems share three traits. First, centralization. All reports go to one database. Second, transparency. Users can check item status anytime. And the last and third one is accessibility. Systems are simple and mobile compatible. These practices inspire us to design a system that fits our university's context, efficient, transparent, and easy to use.
So let's now look at some of the data that we collected from our own survey and our own observations. We surveyed around 100 students across different faculties. The results were quite revealing.
Yes, according to our finding, 76% of respondents said they had lost at least one personal item on campus in the past year. 63% said they didn't know where to go or whom to contact to retrieve it. And then 58% reported that they rely on friends, social media or group chats to locate their belongings. Only 12% had ever successfully retrieved their lost items through official channels.
These numbers clearly show that the current system is ineffective and that communication gaps are the main barrier. Interestingly, when asked whether they would use a digital platform for lost and found, 94% said yes, provided it is easy to use and trustworthy.
So that's a strong signal of readiness. It means students are open to adopting technology-based solutions to meet their needs. This aligns with the technology acceptance model we mentioned earlier. It also confirms that our project proposal has real demand and practical value. So to conclude, our investigation into lost and found problem revealed more than just misplaced item. It exposed gaps in communication, coordination, and trust within the university system. So through our analysis, we saw how a simple issue can reflect larger organizational challenges.
Exactly, Sophia. So, our hope is that by proposing a centralized digital platform, we can improve not only item recovery, but also the overall communication culture in our university. A proper system promotes responsibility, accountability, and collaboration between students and staff.
Moreover, this initiative can serve as model for other administrative processes. If we can manage lost items efficiently through digital communication, we can apply similar strategies to parking, complaints, or event coordination. It's about transforming everyday operations through technology and teamwork.
Ultimately, our goal is not just to solve a problem, but to inspire a mindset that is one that values organization, innovation, and collective responsibility. When students and staff work together, Through effective systems, we build a campus environment that is not only efficient but also caring and connected.
Exactly. The lost and found system might seem like a small step, but it presents a bigger vision. A university that listens, responds, and evolves with its people. Thank you. That's all from us.
I think that's all from us. Thank you.
Bye.